Alrighty, so look, I got another tutorial here. Today's gonna be a tutorial on how to make a quest system. So like you click an NPC, and then they spawn enemies and you kill them, and then you get something for killing them, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and do it. So first things first, we're gonna want to get ourselves an NPC, and I'm just gonna use myself here, cause why not? I'm the GOAT, right? But look, so inside of this, we're just gonna name this to uh, Bandit Hunter, something simple, right? And we're gonna create a whole new folder, and I'm just gonna call this folder uh, NPCs, right? So boom, right, yep. So that's in there. Then we're gonna go ahead and add a click detector into this Bandit Hunter, and head into a brand new script. Alright, so this script, we're going to call it NPC handler. And then we're going to go ahead and say local. Actually, well, yeah, we can go ahead and do this. So we're going to say local bandit hunter. And obviously, if you were doing this for your own game, you would probably want to make like a for loop instead of individually writing out each NPC, unless that's just your style. We're going to go ahead and get our bandit hunter. So that's workspace, NPCs, bandit hunter. But instead of the regular, just the character model, we're gonna get the click detector inside of it. So then we're gonna do bandit hunter dot, is it click? Oh, mouse click. It's bandit hunter dot mouse click. And player, I'm pretty sure is the first thing that's passed when you click that. So we're just gonna say, we're just gonna print the player. Actually, no, we're not gonna do that yet. We're gonna test everything all at once. So we're gonna head down to our managers folder, and if you haven't watched the last tutorial or the last tutorial I did, which was a combat framework, I just pretty much like to organize everything in a managers folder. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna insert a not a new folder, my bad, not a new folder, a module script. So we're gonna grab a new module script, and I'm gonna call it NPC manager. And then we're gonna say NPC manager is equal to a table, and we're gonna return that table. So then inside of this, we're gonna go ahead, inside of this module script, NPC manager, we're gonna go ahead and create a folder called type, right? And I'll explain it now. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna have multiple types of quests, but I'm only gonna make one, which is a bandit quest. You hit a bandit, kill him, boom, you're good, right? But if you wanted to have something like, for example, like if you wanted to say you want to duplicate this, you want to have one where you have to search, right? You have to search, or you have to walk a certain amount of steps. That'll pretty much be it. But yeah, this is how we're gonna do this one. So we're gonna go ahead and say local bandit is equal to a table, and we're gonna return bandit as well. And then we're gonna head back into our NPC manager script. And also this tutorial is gonna use object-oriented programming, which is like meta tables, though that's not the only way you can use it. That's the most straightforward and simple way, so that's the one I'm gonna use in this tutorial. So we're gonna say NPC manager, and we're gonna index, and we're gonna set it back to itself. Then underneath this, we're gonna say NPC manager dot, or no, I'm tripping. My bad. Hold on. This is quest manager. This is called quest manager, not NPC manager. Quest manager. All right. So we're gonna say quest manager dot active quest is equal to an empty table, and then we're gonna say function quest manager dot new, and it's gonna be pretty much like our constructor in a sense. And the first thing we're gonna want to get is the player and type. The player and the type. So we're gonna want to say if, oh wait, and then at the top here we're gonna want to make we're gonna say local available, or we're just gonna say local no, available types is equal to script dot type, and then we're gonna say if available types find first child type wrong type. I'm gonna say if not, and then we're gonna return end. We're gonna return end on this. Oop, forgot the thing. And then we're gonna head back into this. So inside this NPC handler, we're gonna go ahead and require our quest manager. Quest manager, and we're gonna say if quest manager dot active quest player. Then we're gonna say if not. Then we're gonna go ahead and say local new quest is equal to quest manager dot new, and then we're gonna pass in the player and then the type of quest, which is a bandit quest. And for like reference, like you want to have this name as the exact same thing as this right here, like the exact same spelling, capitalization, everything. So then we're gonna say local self is equal to set meta table. We're gonna set that to an empty table, and then we're gonna set that to the index up here, which is quest manager that we set before. So we're gonna say self dot owner is equal to player, self dot type is equal to type, and yeah. So this right here basically checks that if nothing with the same name exists here, and then like basically if it doesn't exist, it's just gonna return and it's not gonna run the rest of this code. But before that, we're gonna want to make sure, actually just for testing purposes, we'll go ahead and hit play and see if that actually, like, oh, I didn't even add a check. I didn't even add a print, my bad, not a check. So we're gonna stop this really quick. I'm just gonna say else print active quests. Already set that backwards, but you get the point. And then we're gonna say, oh, and I also forgot to return self. Don't forget that, you must return self. And just to make sure it's getting this far, we're gonna say print return so here a printed return. So yes, it's actually getting that far, which is good. So now we're going to want to quest manager active quest set player, and we're gonna set this to a table with the type is equal to type. And basically this is keeping track of the current quest type and if the player is already on a quest. So if we go ahead and run this one more time, we should not be able to start multiple quests essentially. So we can try it. So it returned the first time and we're already on an active quest. So we're good on that. All right, so we can go ahead and remove this return or this print. And I'm gonna create a whole new method or a whole new function. We're gonna say quest manager. And we're gonna say setup. We're gonna say quest manager setup. We're gonna call it this. And we're gonna simply call self with setup here. And we're gonna say if, let's say if, we can basically use the same thing that we used up here. So if available find first child, and instead of type, we're gonna use self.type. All right, you see, because we set the type here, so we're gonna use self.type, and we're gonna print self.type. All right, and this should print out basically bandit. And it, once again, this should only print once because we set up our quest. Yep, now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna go ahead inside of our bandit module script. We're gonna say bandit dot, we're gonna say setup. We're gonna call this a setup function as well. And we're gonna basically create a new table called entities. Ooh. I believe I spelled that right. Yeah. Yep. All right. And at the bottom, we're gonna return entities. So, oh, actually, we need to actually create our own entity really quick. So we're gonna go ahead and create another, or just get our entity, and I want it to be this little thing right here, right? So I'm gonna call this the Bandit King, and I'm gonna slap this right into this folder right here. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make a folder underneath the Bandit module, and I'm going to call this entities as well. I'm gonna slap that into this. So we're gonna say local Bandit King is equal to, let's see, Bandit King is equal to, how do I want to put this? All right, yeah, script dot entities dot Bandit King, and then clone it. And then we're gonna say Bandit King dot parent is equal to workspace. And then we're gonna index this, or enter this into the table. So we're gonna say entities Bandit King is equal to Bandit King. We can just set it to itself. It does not really matter. So then we're gonna want to do is we're going to say local entities, or local entities is equal to, we're gonna say require available types, and then what is this, setup. And then we can go ahead down here and just print entities. And what this should do is when we call this function, the NPC that was just here, it should like pop up and pretty much be cloned into the workspace. All right, let's see. And just to make sure that this is working, we're gonna hit play and go ahead and test it. Oh, I literally did not even pass the correct thing. So we're gonna use these brackets and do self.type right here. That's my bad. So this should work. It should work right here. And remember, our NPC was over here. We hit this, and it returns our table with our entity here. And this is our little, we're gonna go ahead and do a for loop. So for found entity, and then we're gonna go ahead and use a underscore for the second value, because it's not really needed, because they're the exact same thing pretty much. We're gonna say in entities, if found entity, find first child, humanoid, and we're gonna say if not, then continue. All right, so we pretty much said if it does not have a humanoid, then we're gonna continue. Like so. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do found entity dot humanoid dot died, and we're gonna connect this to a function, and we're gonna say self dot total entities. And for example, if you were gonna have like quests where you go and search for things, you would pretty much say like make a check. So we're gonna say, like, for example, if you wanted to set that up where it's like precise, if self.type is equal to bandit, or like say bandit, or self.type is equal to boss or whatever, then you would call self setup, right? And then if it's another, like if it's searching for something, you would call self create items or whatever, right? But we're just gonna do this method because I'm only gonna be doing a bandit type killing one, right? So we're gonna say self dot alive entities is equal to 0, we're gonna say right here, we're gonna say self dot alive entities plus equal 1. Right? Self dot killed entities is equal 0. And then when the entity dies, we're gonna call, and actually we're gonna create a connection. So we're gonna say death connection, and then we're gonna say death connection is equal to this, and we're gonna say self dot killed entities is plus equal 1 as well. And then we're gonna death connection disconnect. Right? And then at the bottom down here, or actually at the top, we're gonna go ahead and define our run service. So that's game get service run service. And at the bottom here, we're gonna say local checks is equal to actually checks, and then checks is equal to run service dot heartbeat. And then we're gonna say if self dot killed entities is greater than or equal to self dot, wait, no. Okay, no, actually we don't need to do both of these. We can actually just keep either or, like it doesn't really matter, but I'm just gonna say alive entities. Okay, wait, no. Hold on. So self dot total. That's what it is. Self dot total entities is equal to 0, and self dot killed entities is equal to 0. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say total entities plus equals 1, and then killed entities. I spelled that all the way wrong. Entities self dot killed. So if self dot killed entities is greater than or equal to self dot total entities, then boom. All right. So if this is basically saying if the total amount of killed entities is greater than, or yeah, the amount of killed entities is greater than the total entities, then we're gonna print give reward, right? And just for testing purposes, I'm gonna go into the toolbox and just snatch a sword. Something, yeah, like honestly, not even a sword, just anything that can kill the enemy, right? And we're gonna stick that in our starter pack. Make sure it's here. Yep, there we go. All right, so we have our little NPC right here, and if we kill him, it says give reward. So it's gonna give our reward, but you see it's still continuing. So to fix that, we're just going to checks disconnect, and then we're gonna say give reward, and then task dot delay. Let's say, just to make it like so it doesn't instantly disappear, we're gonna say we're gonna create a for loop for found, or just say entity and entities. If entity, then entity destroy. Right, and with these connections up here, we don't really need to like disconnect them, because once this once the character model is destroyed, then so are the connections. But that's just like until they're all dead, pretty much. So that's how that works, and this should only give our reward once. So if we go ahead and run a test, we'll see how this is. Oh, I'm tweaking. Oh my gosh. I am tweaking. I didn't even start the quest. And it gave our reward in about 3 seconds. Yep. the entity disappeared, right? So that's pretty much the gist on how to set up a very, very simple quest system. So this is editing curse. I kind of forgot to show you how to make a like an ending, like pretty much a destroy type of thingy. But also what we can do is we can go ahead and say like on our NPC handler, game dot players dot player added. We can just always make sure that this we can say if then quest manager dot active quest player oops, we can always set this to nil, because if the player leaves and they somehow get back into the same lobby, they pretty much will not be able to start a quest. And then we can do the same thing in here, but we can just make a whole new method and just call this method end quest, or we can say clear quest, and then quest manager dot active quest self dot owner, and you always just want to just have an if just in case. Then is equal to nil, and then we can just say self clear quest, and then we can just say right here self is equal to nil. And after this clear quest is called, essentially this entire little what is this called, meta table, it's just, all right, let's just make sure that it works. Oh, and I was also like just checking other stuff, but you see Bandit King, and then a minion has died. It's gonna give our reward, and then they're gone, you see. But I can start another quest right after. Let's see, if I kill one of them, I can't start a quest, but boom, it gives my reward. Boom, I can just start it, keep farming it, farm the bots, you know what I mean? And obviously, like I said earlier, expanding it, you would just actually, let's just expand it real quick. We're gonna say a boss, right? I'm gonna just grab like a boss. I'm gonna just search for a boss, right? I'm gonna just search for a giant boss. 200 scripts is kind of crazy. Okay, that's gonna definitely blow somebody's game up, but that's not what we're worried about. All right, so we're gonna say boss, and then we're gonna just go ahead. Boss is equal to entities dot boss, like so. And if I just wanted to change this to boss, it'd be that simple, and this should work. But I'm probably gonna have to make this sword do more damage just so I don't get whooped on. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm gonna just set this to 100, 500, and then 300, right? So this should work. We're gonna find out right here. Yep, and it died. I didn't even have to do anything. And this right here, guys, is why you don't use free models. Just a little heads up. So I'm gonna just get a new model just so I can hopefully show it. I'm gonna get a zombie. Forget it. I'm gonna get a zombie. All right, here we go. So go ahead and click that. And boom, it says give reward. That'll give our XP, whatever your reward is, and the thingy disappears. Simple as that. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I explained it well and things like that. But leave down in the comments some suggestions, and I guess this is only going to be a one-part video because it didn't really take that long. But leave suggestions of what I should try and create in another video, or what I should do a giveaway on. And also join the Discord down below, man. That's about it, man. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'm out.